गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल। जय गंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 38. यच्चकर्थाङ्गमत्स्तोत्रम् मत्कथाभ्युद्य आन्तिकम् यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रह। यच्चकर्थाङ्गमत्स्तोत्रम् मत्कथाभ्युत्तयान्तिकम् यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रह। यच्चकर्थाङ्गमत्स्तोत्रम् मत्कथाभ्युदयान्तिकम् यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रह. Mataji's word to word meaning. Yat, that which, chakartha, performed, anga, O Brahma, mat, mat stotram, prayers for me, mat katha, words regarding my activities, abhyudaya ankitam, enumerating my transcendental glories, yat, or that, va, either, tapasi, in penance, te, your, nishtha, faith, sa, that, eshah, all those, mat, my, anugraha, causeless mercy. Translation. O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master within. And thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualifications, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisitions of wealth or education are not considered. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutavadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to today morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we'll be discussing from the third canto, 9th chapter, verse number 38 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this particular verse speaks about certain themes, causeless mercy, then the Chaitya Guru guiding within. There is Mastotram prayers, something that you offer to the Lord, also has a deep effect on one's spiritual life. And there are also some 5 key teachings that we seem to understand from this particular verse. So basically, in short, what is this verse speaking about? Here, Brahma, Lord Krishna is speaking to Lord Brahma. He is telling that you must have glorified my pastimes, you must have preached my glories and transcendental glories far and wide across. You must have performed so many penances, you must have offered so many prayers to me. But know that everything that you have done is nothing to your credit, but it is all because of my causeless mercy. So in a nutshell, this is what the entire verse is about. So one point which comes for discussion is all devotional achievements are due to the Lord's mercy. We see in this verse, Brahma, who is Brahma? He is the first created human being. His body is made of full of intelligence. And then Brahma is not an ordinary person. He is the person who has created all living beings, the entire universe. So he has performed tapasya for years together, thousands of years. And the Lord appears to Brahma, and then what he tells? He tells him that this is not all because of your credit, but it is just, please know that this is my mercy upon you, because of which you were able to achieve so many things. You will have the sun, and there is the mirror. So when we have a mirror, the mirror may be very clean. The mirror may be completely clean. The person may be very beautiful, but what happens when there is no light? The mirror may be clean, the person may be beautiful, but when there is no light, neither can the person see oneself in the mirror, nor anything else can be seen. So basically, sum and substance is, if there is no light, it becomes redundant. The mirror becomes of no value or no use to us. So in the same way, if there is no causeless mercy of the Lord, we may be doing so many activities, but in the end, it amounts to literally nothing. So what is the role of devotees' effort if everything depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord? Is there any role for us to, endeavor or not? So, in the purport, there is a line which says that voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Prabhupada writes this line in this purport. So, it is also to reiterate the fact that Brahma's firm faith is something that doesn't go unnoticed. Although the Lord says that I have given you causeless mercy and know that because of that mercy, you are able to do so many things. But at the same time, why did the Lord notice that? Because firm faith that Brahma had. So, in one sense, it shows that causeless mercy also is not causeless. So, once upon a time, there was a farmer, and what does a farmer do? He used to grow lemons. And then this particular season, he didn't have much rains. And then, nevertheless, he plowed the field, he sowed the seeds, and then his neighbor was asking him, why are you taking so much effort? Because this time, there'll be hardly any cultivation because hardly there is any rains. But then he puts his hard work, he endeavors, and he plows the field. And then at the end of the season, all he gets is one lemon that comes from his crops. Now, seemingly materially, it's a complete disaster. But then what does this farmer do? He takes that lemon, and because of so much of hard work, the quality of that lemon was top notch. So he takes that lemon and he desires to offer it to the king. So he lands up at the outskirts of the gates of the palace of the king. The guards stop him, and he actually pleads with the security guards and says, all I need is I just need to offer this one particular lemon to the king. When the guards come to know about his intention and his desire and motive, they actually laugh it out, and nevertheless, after pleading, he's let inside. So then he comes in front of the king, and the king asks, what brings you here? So then the farmer says, my dear king, I have just come here to offer you this lemon which I had cultivated with great devotion, and that's the end of it. I just desired that what do I do with only one lemon? There is nothing much I can do. But I then thought it would make a lot of value for me to offer it to you. Who better than you to honor this particular lemon? So the king, when he heard this, he got very pleased, and then he just ordered his servants, give this farmer 10 cows and enough land for cultivation and enough money where for the rest of his life he can maintain his family and livelihood. So this news spreads far wide and across. And then the next day, lo and behold, we have people queuing up. So another big farmer, he comes with 100 lemons and he offers the 100 lemons to the king. And the king says, give him 1 rupee and take the 100 lemons. And then this farmer is very astonished. And he says, yesterday, you got 1 lemon and you gave so much to that farmer. And I am giving you 100 lemons. So then the king tells that particular farmer, he gave me 1 lemon and he gave me his heart. You have given me 100 lemons and you have given me your greed. So basically, this story is spoken, and we can understand from this story that although from a material aspect, what is the value of 1 lemon? So at the end of the day, it was causeless mercy of the king to award so many benedictions upon that farmer. But he wouldn't have been prompted to give so many benedictions to the farmer till he had made the endeavor to cultivate that beautiful or most, you could say, nourishes lemon and go and offer it to the king. So endeavor and effort, it prompted the king to bestow mercy, which was causeless. It didn't equate to the things that he was giving in proportion. So causeless mercy is also not so causeless also. Like you could say a child, small child in the house, wants to reach to his father is in an adjacent room. So he could make a lot of noise, or he's knocking at the door, trying to push the door with all his strength. But then the father comes and then he opens the door and gets the attention of the child. So basically the effort from the child prompted the father to come and open the door. So similarly, mercy will flow, but our effort should always be geared up. So then that effort attracts mercy. So in this verse also, we see that Stotram and Katha are also powerful paths. If you offer prayers, just as Lord Brahma offered prayers, so the Lord is attracted by such prayers. And then the Lord also speaks about Chaitya Guru, or the inner, Guru in our heart, the Lord Super Soul who is present within our heart. So that also helps us. So many instances we must have seen in our daily lives. We get stuck up in some particular thing. We are confused. If we sincerely seek guidance from the Lord and we come to the Lord, we pray to the Lord. So many devotees have experienced this in their life. They open a page of the Bhagavatam. The verse that comes and what they read more or less helps them to get rid of that confusion. So many devotees, so many cases have actually narrated that this has happened to them. So this is an instance where the super soul residing within Chaitya Guru guides, the Paramatma guides us. And then we also see that practical applications are there, and how this verse applies to practical applications. Chanting japa, even if we might chant imperfectly, but the mere act and endeavor to sincerely chant will definitely attract the Lord's mercy and Lord's heart. So if you are hearing Krishna Katha also, hearing about Krishna isn't small. It's a gateway to grace. And then we see that sometimes we feel we are not qualified. So that itself is the stepping stone, or that's the qualification to actually, stand in line to receive the mercy of the Lord. This may sound as if things are so difficult, so you have to endeavor, you have to fight, you have to struggle so much, at the end of the day, even to attract the attention of the Lord. So one may seem that what all should I do at the end of my lifetime to achieve perfection? So one may feel that as it is, it's so difficult to practice spirituality, and on top of that, there are so many rules, so many regulations, and on top of that, from scriptures, from stories, the verses of Bhagavatam indicate that it's an uphill task to even, it says basically that you do whatever you want, but ultimately, I will give you causeless mercy. Only if you receive that, then you can perfect your life. So some might think, is there any hope for me or no? मैं कुछ करूँ के नहीं? Otherwise, if everything is dependent on causeless mercy, then how is it? So Rupa Goswami has defined bhakti very nicely, and Rupa Goswami says that what is the definition of bhakti? Ahaituki apratihata. So here we learn that what is bhakti? Definition of bhakti is when one realizes that what does it take to make Krishna happy, and then when we realize what it takes to make Krishna happy, it is not us who should be the center of attraction in our life, but when we put Krishna in the center of attraction in our life, then that is what a soul understands, that is the definition of bhakti. So you offer water to the root of the tree, instead of watering all the branches together, the plant becomes nourished in themselves. Brahma himself says, Tattenukamtam susumikshomano in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Here the Lord says that one who earnestly waits for you, Lord Brahma says this, to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently waiting for the reaction of his past misdeeds, what happens? He offers respectful obeisances through manasa, vacha, karmana, and is surely eligible for liberation. In the purport, Prabhupada says that just as what does a son have to do to inherit the inheritance from his father, he basically has to just stay along and be there throughout in the home or basically carry along in his life. He does not need to take stress throughout his life that will my father give me inheritance or no. He just needs to lead his life sincerely, following all the rules and principles, serving nicely, and then in due course of time, grace will follow. So the basic, underlying thing is one has to be sincere, one has to be, patient in one's life. And then why will the Lord not award grace to us? Sometimes, you see a beggar who's there on the street, he'll come and he'll beg in front of us. And then what is the sum and substance? I mean, what if a beggar comes in front of you and begs? So it doesn't deem fit that you have to give him something. It is upon the individual whether he chooses to give something to the beggar or no. So that is causeless mercy on the beggar. But the endeavor, the effort that the beggar puts might also go a long way in awarding him some mercy from the recipient. But that doesn't guarantee anything. This is the month of Kartik, and this is the week of Diwali. Here, the past few speakers have also mentioned about the glories of this particular month. And in connection to this verse also, we will discuss something on this most glorious month and the Leela that happens in this month. So before this, we begin the Damodar Lila. I would just like to narrate this one beautiful story that I got, was mentioned by a poet. So in this, Diwali also signifies not only Krishna breaking the butter pot and Mother Yashoda binding him, but also on this day what had happened in Ayodhya, Lord Ram had returned back to Ayodhya, and all the citizens of Ayodhya had welcomed Lord Ram by lighting lamps, offering their hearts to Lord Ram. So this poet says, don't be impressed by the opulence of the crown of Lord Ram. Don't get lost in the grandeur of the throne. Look instead at his feet, those feet which are covered with dust, pebbles, and which have traversed pebbles, thorns throughout the forests over the past 14 years. And he has walked barefoot throughout, these 14 years, crushing the thorns and pebbles. Why? Just with one single aim, to bring back Sita, to uphold Dharma. And these are the feet of the king, these are the feet of the servant of love. A God who chooses exile over injustice, who gives up everything to protect one woman, one vow, and one promise. So don't surrender just to the crown, surrender to the sacrifice, surrender to the footprints left in the forest, and surrender to the pain he bore out of love. Because that's where Ram reveals his heart, and not in Ayodhya's palace, but in the forest's silence. So this was some lines from a wonderful poet that he had written about, and it's apt in the, month and week of Diwali. So there are 10 names of Diwali, which come in Sanskrit. I just came across that and I thought it was interesting. So one is, it is called Deepavali. What is Deepavali? A row of lamps. Another name is Deepali. Again, it signifies a row of lamps. The third one is Deepotsav. Diwali is also called as Deepotsav. That is festival of lamps. The fourth one is Deepalika. It is a festival or row of lamps. Then the fifth one is Deepamalika, a garland of lamps or a row of lamps. It is also called as Yaksha Ratri, the night of the Yakshas. Another name is Kaumudi. That means Ku means the earth, and on whom Muda means happiness is bestowed on this night. So that is also another name of Diwali. Another name, the eighth one is Sukharatri, the night of happiness. And the ninth one is Sukha Suptika. That means even, you have a sleep of happiness on this particular night. And then the 10th one is Lakshmi Pujan, which is Lakshmi Puja. So Diwali is also connected to, Dhana Lakshmi. We have so many Lakshmis. So there are Ashta Lakshmis, and Adi Lakshmi is the primal goddess of fortune. And when you worship Adi Lakshmi, it is like worshipping all the other Lakshmis. So you have Adi Lakshmi, she is the primeval Lakshmi. What does she do? She is the source of all wealth. Then you have Dhana Lakshmi. What is Dhana Lakshmi? You have these 8 Lakshmis who are in charge of various departments of bestowing wealth. Wealth is in so many facets. So these are the 8 types of Lakshmi. So in that, second is Dhana Lakshmi. She bestows the department of wealth. The third one is Dhanya Lakshmi. This is the wealth in the form of grains that we may, acquire. And the fourth one is Gaja Lakshmi. What is Gaja Lakshmi? Something like elephant wealth. So what is it? Animal wealth. So elephant signifies royalty. So if someone is looking for royalty, fame, so this is the Lakshmi you need to worship. Then you have Santan Lakshmi. So if one is looking for progeny or child, then you need to worship. She is the person in charge of this department. Then you have Veera Lakshmi, one who bestows valor, strength, courage. You have Vijaya Lakshmi, she bestows victory, success. And there is Vidya Lakshmi, one who bestows knowledge. So these are the 8 types of Lakshmi. And now we come to the Damodar Lila in this month. So in the Vishnu Sahasranam, the 367th word, the name of Lord Vishnu is called Damodar. And there are 4 names, or there are 4 meanings to the name of the word Damodar. So one we all know, that is very commonly spoken about throughout all the classes that we hear. So the first meaning of Damodar is one who is bound across the belly. Dam means rope and Udar means belly. So one who is bound across the belly with the rope is called Damodar. So the second meaning of the word Damodar is the one in whose belly the entire cosmic manifestation rests. So here Dam means bound and Udar means belly. So when the world is annihilated, the entire cosmic manifestation, goes into the belly of the Lord. So the one who holds, or the entire cosmic manifestation is bound in his belly. So that is the meaning of the word Damodar. Now the third meaning is one who through self-restraint and generosity. Then what is this? Dama means self-control, self-restraint. And Udar means Udar also, generosity. So one who through practice of self-restraint can, achieve success. That is also called as Damodar. And the fourth one is infinitely compassionate and generous one. So here, Udara means again being generous, being very, very charitable. And Dama means it symbolizes bestowing gifts and blessings. So these are the 4 meanings of the word Damodar, which is mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam, one of the names of Lord Vishnu, the 367th name of Lord Vishnu in the Sahasranam. So we see on the day of Diwali, even Radhanath Maharaj was describing this nice Leela a couple of days back. What happens on the day of Diwali? Mother Yashoda gets up and she has been hearing complaints about Kana stealing butter. She decides on this particular day, I will churn butter personally for my darling son. She doesn't need to, she's a queen. But then she puts everything aside and she personally endeavors to churn butter so that that butter can be fed to none other than Krishna. And then we know this pastime. I'll not get into details of the pastime, but this Leela is so enchanting, so nourishing, so beautiful. And there are so many acharyas who have given commentaries on every little acts that Krishna and Mother Yashoda have performed. So every sentence that happens in the Damodar Leela, there are so many acharyas who have commentated, and there are so many wonderful pastimes and lessons that we learn. and that we stand to accrue from little details of these pastimes. So here the first thing that we see is the power of devotion of Mother Yashoda. As we all know, the effort of Mother Yashoda and the mercy of Lord Krishna. Two fingers, too short. This is what we often hear. What happens? One represents the effort of the living entity, and the second finger represents the grace of the Lord. So when these two things are there in the life of a human being, you can, bind the Lord, or you can remember the Lord. So on this Diwali day, when Mother Yashoda was wanting to bind Lord Krishna because he was, stealing the butter from so many places, and from his own house, Mother Yashoda saw him break the yogurt pot and steal butter. And then Mother Yashoda ties Krishna with a rope after lot of endeavor. So Yashoda takes parishram in binding the Lord. Let us understand and try to understand this word parishram. What does this mean? Acharyas have commentated very nicely. So we know what is shrama. It's a very basic Hindi word, shrama, or Sanskrit word. It stands, it denotes hard work. Now what is pari? So you could say, Acharyas have said, pari is something where a person endeavors to perform an activity that he has undertaken. He gives it his all. He completely puts in all efforts so that he leaves no stone unturned to ensure that the activity he has undertaken, he performs to the best of his ability. So what does Mother Yashoda do here? She goes into the kitchen herself, and in spite of having so many maids, she herself chooses to churn the butter. And we can understand this word pari in contemporary terms by some examples. For example, if you want to have a South Indian menu, so how will you serve that? First of all, it is experienced best when you serve it on a banana leaf. And then what's the first thing that comes to your leaf when you actually have a proper South Indian lunch? You have a little bit of spoon of sweet rice that is served on your plate, and then you have some lemon or pickles, and everything comes. Then the sabjis follow. After that, the main preparation comes, rice comes. First thing that is offered to eat with rice is dried dal, that thick one. Then you have sambar and again rice. Then you have rasam and again rice. Then you have curd or buttermilk and rice, and then you have the sweet rice in end. So this is something I'm speaking about this to denote what is pari. Acharyas have commentated that pari is something which encompasses everything in the periphery. Like right now the yatra is happening, there is sabji cutting going on. So sabji cutting doesn't mean just turning up and chopping and changing, doing whatever you feel like. So a lot of planning also happens in something which is a very simple activity like sabji cutting. So when that planning happens, and when one actually puts effort into thinking, like what size do I need to cut? Have the vegetables been washed? And after cutting, where I have to, send the vegetables to. So all this is, included in the term pari. It is as simple as, you need papad, you need pickles to go along with your main course. So, this all denotes pari and shrama. So when Mother Yashoda performed parishram, it means that the endeavor with which she endeavored and put in her complete effort to ensure that whatever she was desiring to offer Lord Krishna, butter, so she put her heart into it. Holistically and wholeheartedly, she made that endeavor, and when a jiva does that, the Lord is pleased with that endeavor, that effort, and definitely why will he not accept the butter of Mother Yashoda? And if we also endeavor in this same way, in this complete way, we give all our efforts, then definitely the grace of the Lord will follow, and he will also accept our butter, our offering. Another thing which happens in this beautiful pastime is when Lord Krishna comes and he puts his hand on the churning rod and indicating to Mother Yashoda that I am here. Why are you still churning? I need attention. So Mother Yashoda puts it down, realizing that baby Krishna needs her attention, and she takes Lord Krishna on her lap. So there is lessons to learn from this particular activity or this particular pastime also. So it is said that a seeker or sadhaka churns the scriptures. He performs analysis of the Upanishads, and there is only one purpose in it, to just get a glimpse of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now here what is happening? Mother Yashoda is churning. But then the whole purpose of churning was to please baby Krishna. And baby Krishna is there right in front of Mother Yashoda demanding her attention. Understanding what Lord Krishna wants, she stops churning and gives her attention to Lord Krishna. Many a times we might be caught up in the rituals of performing our activities, not realizing that the result for which you are performing the activities is already waiting in front of you. But we might be engrossed in our actions and not realizing that the Lord has accorded us mercy. So this is also another important lesson that we need to understand from this particular pastime. Here, moving forward, we see that Yashoda's churning is not out of ignorance, but it is out of love. And when one truly achieves this Krishna Prem, they don't stop. What happens? When we achieve this love of God, Mother Yashoda, who had achieved this love of God, even if Lord Krishna is there, such devotees are not doing it ritualistically. Nevertheless, they can continue going on churning. A sadhaka can continue going on churning the scriptures, now relishing the meaning behind why he was actually doing all this study for all these years, when the mercy of the Lord is bestowed upon that particular devotee. So, there is again another thing which happens in this Leela. It is said that God is unbound. So the Lord is unbound, and we see the world according to our own perceptions. Atmavat manyate jagat. So a person was one time walking and he was limping a little bit. A psychiatrist happened to be nearby, and then he just inferred from this person walking, and he said that I think this person is suffering from depression in the way this person is particularly walking. He's surely, a patient of depression. Next to him was a physiotherapist. So this physio said, no. The peculiar style in which he is walking, it means that, there is an imbalance in L3 and L4 in this particular person. So there is something wrong with his back. And then again, there was another neurologist next to him. So he said, there is definitely, this seems a peculiar case of, nerves problem. So that's the style in which he is walking. And then a psychologist said, this is nothing but a subconscious manifestation of imbalance in his personal life. But finally, he comes across to the nearest cobbler, and then what the problem was, he had just a broken pair of chappals. So basically, what we perceive, is something, not what the reality might turn out to be. So to the demons, Krishna appears as death personified. To the yogis, he appears as the super soul. And to the impersonalists, Krishna is the light. To Mother Yashoda, he is nothing but a small, mischievous little child. And to the pure devotees, he is both infinite as well. He is the, very intimate friend of pure devotees. So just as the story that we narrated of this particular cobbler, the devotee signifies the cobbler in this story. A simple devotee who is very simple-hearted, he will not analyze unnecessarily, too many details or why did this happen. At the end of the day, he accepts the Lord, the mercy of the Lord, and carries on performing his actions. Otherwise, you get caught up with so many perceptions. So when the heart becomes simple, like that of Mother Yashoda, who simply churned butter, and we stop projecting and start perceiving, so then the infinite Lord, who no rope can bind, melts with the love that Mother Yashoda has to offer, and then the unbound becomes bound. And Radha Govind Maharaj, he gives a beautiful commentary for this. He says that Krishna is definitely unbound. Nobody can bind Krishna. So till that day, he could never be bound. So many mischiefs Krishna was performing, and Mother Yashoda was wanting to tie Krishna with the ropes. So what happens here? Till now, the Mother Yashoda was tying. It is not that she had never done that. Every day morning, that was a routine activity for Mother Yashoda to tie Krishna. She would bathe Krishna, she would put dhoti for Krishna, and then she would put that waist belt or girder across the waist of baby Krishna. So this activity she has done day in, day out. But what was so special on that day that this didn't happen? So Radha Govind Maharaj says that on this day, the Lord's vibhuti started acting. His energies were now in action. So the Vatsalya went in the background, and the vibhutis, the energies of the Lord, take a precedence right now. And when Krishna saw that devotion and love of Mother Yashoda, his heart completely melted, and then he instructs his energies to again go in the background, and the Vatsalya form of Krishna comes, and he allows Mother Yashoda to bind Krishna. Another interesting facet which happens here is the Yamalarjuna trees are there in the courtyard of Nanda Baba. And as we all know the story, when Krishna was bound to the wooden grinding mortar, Krishna goes in between the two trees, and the two trees fall down. Now, the background to this, also the story we all know, that they were, the sons of Kubera in the celestial planets, and they were very powerful. They had acquired a lot of power, were residing there, but unfortunately, pride had gone to their head. And then when Narad Muni came in the Mandakini Ganga, they didn't respect Narad Muni. They got cursed. And of course, that curse of pure devotees also turns out to be blessing. He also tells them that you be Arjuna trees in the courtyard of Nanda Baba, and after years, Krishna will come and liberate you. So Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning that baby Krishna, whenever he would touch these Yamalarjuna trees, it would be like Krishna would get the feeling of embracing the trees, or he is remembering Arjun, another Arjun who would be and come to be in future, who would be Krishna's most intimate friend. So when Krishna was actually liberating the trees, the Arjuna trees, or touching those Arjuna's trees, Krishna would get the feeling of embracing his most intimate friend Arjuna, who in future Krishna would, intimate and associate with. So the bhav of the devotee is like Nammalvar. One time when he came to know that Mother Yashoda had tied Krishna, he actually fainted for 6 months. So such is the level of devotion of devotees that we need to reach. So we have a long way to go. But the point that we are addressing is, if we have such devotion, then we can actually understand what level it takes for us to get the mercy of the Lord. So effort is essential, but we are dependent on the grace. So God is not conquered by logic, but sincere surrender. Another important thing which happens in this particular Leela is that, the Yamalarjuna trees, as I said, the Nalakuver and Manigriv, they had pride in their hearts, because of which they were cursed. And then Krishna comes and liberates them, destroying the pride. So Krishna liberates Nalakuber and Manigriv. Even Indra, he developed pride and Govardhan Lila happened. So one might ask, is Krishna partial that he is, helping Indra, he is helping Nalakuber, Manigriv? As devotees also, we have anarthas, we have so many anarthas. But the Lord, who is our eternal Father, is definitely not wanting devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord to suffer so much. And that is why, as a loving mother, corrects the child by taking away the toy which might be distracting the child from studying. Similarly, the same Lord, lovingly corrects his sons like Nalakuber, Manigriv or Indra from time to time when they, go astray. So, we could see that there might be milk from Gir cows, though it might be used to make sweet rice. There might be camphor, saffron put in it, and the product would be fabulous with terms of a delicious sweet rice. But then, there is a tinge or one drop of poison added to that particular sweet rice. So what is it? It becomes unofferable, it becomes completely redundant, useless. So we could say that one might be chanting 64 rounds, one might be reading Srimad Bhagavatam daily, Bhagavad Gita daily, one might be preaching to thousands of people and spreading the message and gospel of word far and wide. But then if we had this pride inside our body, then everything that we are doing, it is nothing but that one drop of poison. So we should be careful that we don't fall prey to such vices. Otherwise, the effort that we are putting, everything is nullified. And from the Damodar Lila, from the beautiful month of Diwali, from Brahma's pastimes, where the Lord is telling that, Brahma is performing so many austerities for thousands of years. Brahma was just performing tapasya, and then after 1,000 years, he heard the first syllable tapa. And then we all know that in this verse, Lord appears to Brahma and then he says that it is not your effort because of which you have received success, but it is my causeless mercy. But of course, in the purport, Prabhupada writes that voluntary endeavor also goes a long way in attracting the causeless mercy of the Lord. So we have to be wary of anarthas which we might tend to develop over the period of our daily activities, and nevertheless strive with parishram like Mother Yashoda to perform an endeavor and give our all to offer that most beautiful butter to Lord Krishna. And rest assured, like the farmer who cultivated those lemons and attracted the grace of the king, we come in front of Lord Radha Gopinath and we pray. And one day, surely we will definitely be a recipient of the causeless mercy of the Lord. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Nithai Gaur Premanande.